What's going on, everybody? I don't know if you caught the live video on Thursday, but I kind of went over what's happening with the Malawi tank. So real quick, we've got a lot of issues and I'm not gonna get deep into it, but the issues are what they are. I got excited, I didn't use a quarantine tank, and in essence, 9 fish had to be culled because Colmenares after ick were moving too quick and the tank was too big to get it rectified fast enough so that it wouldn't continue to spread. However, as an update, this is Friday, so a day after the live video. There is no Colmenares. Maricin has effectively eradicated everything, and methylene blue prior to that got rid of all the ick. However, it made my sand and stuff a different color. So, moral of the story is, make sure that you quarantine your fish no matter who the source is. Trust the process, not the source. I do have a quarantine tank, a med tank up and running, and it is there for the fish that I'm gonna be getting from the Fish Hut of New Jersey and potentially Trevor O'Shea, the wonder of cichlids. So now let's talk about what else died, because clearly death is the theme of this video. So since we are talking about death, which honestly is the nature of the beast when it comes to keeping fish or having fish, keeping plants, snails. So whether you're keeping fish, plants, invertebrates, whatever you're doing, amphibians, reptiles, if you're keeping living creatures, to include us humans, honestly, at some point death does come into the picture. However, we're gonna talk about plant death in this bad boy, and I'm gonna show you exactly what I'm talking about. In essence, there's only a few plants that are still living if you've been paying attention, because we didn't grossly plant this tank, but we lightly scattered some grasses, some dwarf sag, and some dwarf swords, and they're gone. So let's talk about it. So if we're talking about all of the good things first, because, well, that's what we should do, you will see that the Anubias is doing well. Yeah, for the most part. These little gregarious bungholios have decided that this is a good snack in between feeding times. So as long as I can keep them away from that, we should be good. But if you also remember, I had plants here, I had plants all throughout here, 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 to include over there. Gone, gone, gone. Everything is gone. Some of them were dying, so I pulled them. When I say dying, I'm talking like completely, I don't know if you guys call it melted. I'm not a plant guy, so I'm not completely sure the terminology, but they were dead. Now, the rest that were there, I left in there, and they went bye-bye because of these amazing little creatures. Now, if you remember, I have some goby in there. I've got some Dardani, which this guy's getting some color. Folks, I don't think many of you have seen Dardani or Dardinii, but they are not a super colorful fish. They are just really cool to watch school together. And then, of course, I got my baby trophs, do. Ha ha! Yes, we've got the baby Tropheus. They are doing exceptionally well. They are all growing. They are all maturing in their own kind of speed or section. And what's really neat is when you watch the Tropheus at night, they'll kind of tuck away behind these rocks. The gobies kind of do their thing, and the Dardani kind of lay out in the rocks, which is really neat because, well, there's no active predator. But the goby is just an amazing fish to watch do what it does. And then if we get down kind of in this area, you're like, well, we got shells in there. Where's the shell dwellers? Yes, there are some shell dwellers kind of in and around this area. They use this as their highway back and forth. They control this area, but my goodness, these guys are from Dave's Rare Fish, if you didn't know, and he is getting some awesome size and color. I wish you can see it in person. I mean, I didn't expect it to be so soon that they would color up like this. Let's swing around here and let's see if we can get the other culture of fish that's in here. Can we see them? Ooh, you can see the fin moving. Let's see if we can lighten this bad boy up a little bit, huh? There we go. Look at her. Look at her. And now we'll darken this because we don't want the tank to be nasty like that. So You've got the Tropheus, the Dardani, and the Goby, and we also have the Wiener Heads. The largest shell dweller. As you can see, they decided to kick out all the shells. They moved one in the corner because one usually kind of hides out right in that area. Oh, you saw him. You had to have seen him. That was a brave little Tropheus to go in there, huh? And then they kicked all the rest of the shells over here and kind of spread them out. And this rock is perfect. It doesn't lay completely flat. However, it kind of gives itself a little lip. And I like that because it's a secure area for those shell dwellers. So overall, plants are dead. They're gone. These are being consumed. But the fish are doing amazing in this tank. Now let's talk about this tank for a moment because I have a Snail Explosion. The shrimp appear to be doing okay. I think I've lost a couple at this point now, only because I had to do so many things medicating the tank above. I've lost one mystery snail and some plants are holding on for dear life. I've lost 2 total plants. Most of my guppy grass has ended up here, which I expected just because of flow. Not the lady from Progressive, but the actual rate in which the water moves in here. And I mean, overall, I can't complain about this. Liam still loves it. He may not be as excited when he gets back because he hasn't seen this in a week, but it is thriving enough to keep most of these things alive. However, I am dosing with a fertilizer just to keep it going a little bit. However, I do understand that most of it is probably being filtered out, but it's making me feel better. And well, if it's making me feel better and it's not hurting anything, then I'll continue to do it. But yes, shrimp are gone, plants are gone from here. Very sad. I did have to treat methylene blue because of the tank above, but it happens. And I knew that there was a potential chance that plants can go down. And that's just how the cookie crumbles. However, if there were plants in a pot, this guy would eat all of them. Right, Sonic? Watch how he comes. Shun shun, baby. Oh, he likes to eat plants. Evil. I did, however, want to add plants to this aquarium, but I held off. I am having a diatom explosion happen, and I believe it's because the light is very high power, along with some minerals that are already in this not so awesome tap water, because as you remember from the last house, it was all well, which was fantastic. This is not. So I am getting the diatom buildup. The light is closer, but it doesn't bother me. I just gotta clean the glass a little bit. Fish are getting bitter. The fish are getting bigger, and I'm feeling more comfortable with this aquarium. I just wish, however, they would grow a little faster, but you can't rush that process if you want healthy fish. And honestly, they are extremely healthy. This Julie used to be, I mean, half the size, already growing. So maybe in the future I'll add a few plants, but I'll hold my breath on that. The tank behind you is the Malawi tank, definitely not getting any plants. So let's go to the vivarium and talk about those plants that we were losing, and I can tell you what has happened. Now, if you watched the video before regarding the dart frog vivarium, there are 3 dart frogs. I talked about possibly only having 2. I said the same thing on the live video, but there are 3 Dendrobates tinctorius azureus. The blue ones with the black markings. So they're all doing extremely well, and I could attribute that to a couple things. One, me taking very, very good care of them, but also getting a very healthy animal from Josh's Frogs. As you can see, we are getting one of them coming out while we're filming, definitely attacking the food. I just added some really juicy, healthy snacks, aka wingless fruit flies. And as you can see, the fern is growing rather rapidly. There's 2 brand new stalks or ferny arms coming up. I do not know anything about plants. I'm learning. So if you'd like to correct me, do that in the comments. I would greatly appreciate it. And then let's pan over to this guy right here. Bingo has completely bloomed out. There was a couple of leaves that were coming too, which was really nice to see. And then whatever that is in the background is growing almost as tall as the enclosure. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do at this point because, well, I don't know if it's going to just take over. This, boop, 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 right there, I was having a few issues. It was browning rather rapidly, but now I'm starting to see the leaves open wider. I can only attribute all of this to the new light that I got from Current USA. It's the 18-inch Satellite Plus Pro. I'm not saying that that is it in its entirety, but that is the only thing I changed. Let's go over here. The moss seems to be doing really well in that monkey pod. And let me see if I can zoom in here without distracting the dart from eating. It is starting to grow almost outside of it, which is great. The mood moss has remained a yellowish tan. There is some green happening. I'm getting some mushrooms, which I'll show you in a moment. And then there is some, I've got some moss here. There's some moss over here. And then I've got some moss that I added over there. And it's doing really well. It's taking very well. And then I've added some moss right up on the top mushroom ledge. My, what is it, bromeliads? I know I horribly pronounced that. I lost one of them in the beginning because I didn't know that you shouldn't plant them in the dirt. So I punched some holes in the background. The one on the left is really doing well. Let me kind of pan out for a moment and you can see that. So you can see them all the way tucked there in the back, doing extremely well. And then there's another one, and I'll kind of give you a good view. Hopefully we can get there. Now you're not going to be able to see it, but you can kind of see just right there. Not doing the best, however, doing much better. I started adding a little bit more direct water. I promise you some real mushrooms. So let's look at the real mushrooms. There's one coming up right there, looking lush. Why don't we check out some shrimp eating? And I started looking around to see if anybody had come out, and everybody is starting to jam. I added that awesome stick you kind of see fuzzy in the foreground. That's for them to just climb on and eat. But I've got little guys just chilling on leaves and stalks. And then I have this pregnant mama over here. I don't know, maybe she's gonna dump off the babies over here. I don't know. I am missing a few. I know there's some in the back. I know there's some kind of tucked away in this area as well. But overall, I'm really happy about the shrimp. I've just got to figure out this snail issue. And once I get that dialed in, I shouldn't have any more problems down in this nether region until I can figure out what the heck is going on with the Malawi tank, because this is serving as a denitrification process. So I'm trying to reduce the nitrates by using this refugium, and it is working. We just got a lot of stuff happening on this bad boy up top, and once that clears up, we shouldn't have any more issues. So I appreciate what you're doing. Let me know in the comments what the worst thing you've went through. You know what's next. Aha! You stayed till the end. Well, this one's gonna be short and sweet. There are 3 sides to every story. There's A, there's B, and then there's the actual truth. So if an altercation or an issue happens between you and somebody else, there's your perception of what happened, there's their perception of what happened, and then there's an actual unbiased perception of what happened. And in between all 3 of those, we have to figure out what really transpired, why it transpired, and what we can do to fix it. So remember, don't always just take something in because you feel, you believe that person, regardless of who they are. Because sometimes we embellish, sometimes we over-exaggerate, and a lot of times we get the facts wrong. Thank you so much.